Okay, so King, in fact, I wanted to go through what we did yesterday on Tuesday, but I've
Mm-hmm.
been jumping from one minute to the other. But I think what went through this morning is that last week we look at the data type structure.
Mm-hmm.
The it said that is a simple or the single and the how I call it complex. But I
Mm-hmm.
think we actually focus on the single because the single we have the integer, the float, and the boolean. So we started looking at the boolean.
Yes. Yes.
So that's where I actually got to. Hopefully, I'll have to go back to last Wednesday video and this one to catch up.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, Samuel.
We we did some few functions, and then we look at how to run or change the data type
Mm-hmm.
in a single operation. This is what I remember.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I think that is fine. So we have in mind exactly what we've done. Okay. So just to keep you focused, I think we've talked about some functions that I really want you to take note of them, like the print function. Okay, we used to print the outputs, the input function that is for prompts to user prompts. Okay, and then we also look at the casting where we can convert one data type to another. Basically, we focus on the simple data type, that is the integer, the floats, and then the boolean. Okay, and we went through further to understand what boolean is all about. And I made mention that boolean is all about zeros and one, or true or false. So we did a simple exercise to check to see all those things. So uh, we made an empty data and said that anything empty makes false or zero. So we tried to check all those things and we realized that it's true. Okay. And then when we gives us false. Okay. So that summarized the Boolean operation. And then we've looked at arithmetic operation where so far we've gone through addition, subtraction, multiplication, the floor division, and then we also did a little bit of we able to do the calculation concerning maybe you want to get the remainder of the data. Okay, so if I want to get a remainder of a data, we also have to check that to see if maybe I'm getting a remainder, how do I get it, and then how do I look at other aspects of it? What does the remainder do for me? So we went through all those aspects to check how to go through all these things. So now today we will be continue from where we left. Okay. So I want us to focus on um, the string. Okay. So today we'll be dealing with a string data type. So let me share my screen with you. Okay, so please can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so it's when we talk about string, what comes in mind? Anytime you hear the word string, what comes in mind?
Words.
Where's okay? Where's okay? What again? Okay, so string simply means words. So it could be a group of characters. So that
Okay.
is words. Okay,
Okay.
so that is string. It's a group of characters. And from the basic understanding, what we know that we say that anything within a quote is a string.
String.
So the symbol for a string will be this. Okay, or this is the double quotes, and then we have the single quotes, which is this.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have the string instance, which is this. So that is the string function. That is the instance of a string. So this is the instance, the string instance here, and then the quotes and that. Okay, so I can use this or this, and then we have, so this one give us a single line string. So now here, if I have this, if I use this one, okay, this one, this is for single line,
Okay.
single line string. Okay, if I use this is also single line string. Okay, so either this or this. Okay, either this or this. And then if I use this, now you can see that this one, I can use single triple code like this. So 3 times. So 3 like this. So you can see that we call this one double line string. Okay, double line string means that you can have multiple lines. So I can have a multiple line like maybe a whole passage can be here. It's a string, but then this one is a multiple line. Okay, so I can type in this, type in this, type in this. So this is multiple line, but it's also a string. So this is a single line, this is a multiple line. And then we can also have this. So it is same as the single that we have here. You can have the multiple line of the double. Okay, so this also means multiple line string. Okay, so what makes the difference here is this one is going to take more lines, and this one is also going to take what do you call uh, more line. They are all the same, but there's a difference between at what point do I need to maybe use this. Okay, so we will go into all those aspects. But for now, I just want you to know that when we come to a string, we have all these ones. Okay, now let's look at other aspects of this. Now you realize that I've been using this. right? The hashtag. Okay, so the hashtag simply means comment. So when you place hashtag in front of any code, okay, Python does not see it. So once you run it, the Python interpreter will ignore that anything with this. So we call this one comment. So you want to comment any part of your code, you start with hashtag, and then that follow with the comment that you want to give. Okay, so the comments. So this one simply mean comments. Okay, now this is a single line comment. Now all this one is also a single line comment. So if I want a double line comment where I will look at multiple lines, so the same of this, or this one can also represent a double line comment. So I can use the same thing for a double line comment. And the next one can also represent a double line comment. But what makes the difference is if maybe I want to see the output of anything, what do? You can print it out, right? Or you can assign it to a variable. Okay, so if I assign, we know that this is a multiple line string, but if I've not assigned it to a variable, I won't see any output from this. So let's run this code. Once you run this code, you realize that nothing came out. Okay, so that tells you. So now if I want to see anything, and I'm seeing that this is a multiple line string, so all that I needed to do is to assign this one to me. Just assign it to a variable. So now if I print this variable down there, let's say print me, in that case, it's going to print that multiple line. So you can see that I have sing. So that is multiple line. And then I can use the same thing for comment, but at this point, I won't print it, I won't assign it to a variable. So a comment mostly is for the developer or anybody who might read your code. Okay, so if somebody might read your code, so you write maybe a comment there before the actual script will come, so that you tell the person what exactly this line is for, or what you are doing within this line. So that is commenting. Okay, I hope it's clear.
Yes, it's clever. Keen, I want to ask. Actually, before you run the code in the first pane, like, do you have to highlight them before you actually click on the green run?
No, you don't need to highlight in it.
Okay.
You don't need to highlight in it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so if I click here, it will just run it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So now we actually have the understanding of the string, okay, itself. Okay. So we went through to know that now if I use the input function, we say that anything that comes from input function come as what? From last time, come as what? A string. Okay. So if I have input function, this is inputs. And then we see that we use the input function for what? Prompt. That is to prompt the end user for what? Data. Okay, so end user can be anybody. Okay, so prompt the end user for data. So anything that comes from input function come as what? A string. So if I'm here and let's say I'm giving this first underscore name, and then I assign it to input. Then I just give the description to my prompt. Then sees that here first name. Okay. So once we run this code and I want to check here, let's say print type, sorry. Okay. So once we run this line of code, now it will ask us for the first name. So the first name I can input 2. So once I input, it came as what? A string. Why? Because we say that anything. So even though my wording here, I'm saying first name, but actually input what? An integer. But because I'm capturing from the input function, whatever that comes from input function comes as what? A string. Okay. So now let's look at a simple string. So I'm going to use this welcome. And then I'll assign it to welcome to Python class. Now, if I want to see what welcome to Python class, if I want to see what is inside welcome, what do I need to do?
You run welcome.
You run welcome, so you print welcome, right? So
Yes.
I'll
You print yes.
yeah. So now I'll come here and print welcome. In that case, now I'm commenting on this line here, but I don't want it to run that part. So now once you run this code here, you will see that what came here is what? Welcome. Now, this welcome that you see here, this is a group of what? Characters. You can see that we have W, E, L, C, O. So you can see that these are different characters. Okay. So let's say that we want to get individual characters. Now, all that we see here is being occupied by what? And a space. Okay, so let's say W has a space, E has a space, and then those spaces that's occupying, they are in position. So in programming, we use the term what? Index. Index simply means what? Position. Okay, index means position. So programming and computing, counting starts from 0. So now the position for the first letter will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Space is also a position. Okay, so these are position up to the last letter. Okay, so if I want to get the first position W, so what you need to do is that you come here. So instead of printing welcome will give me all the string that I have here. So you place in square, open and close square brackets. Now inside that, you can then put in the index. So we call this one index. So when you place the index here, it means that I'm going to have access to the first letter, because the first letter, the position for the first letter is what? Index 0.
Zero.
Okay. So once you run this one, you could see that it came what? This W. So it means that I'm able to get access to the first letter. If I want the second letter, I'll change it to 1. So that will give me E. Okay, so that is indexing. So index simply means position. So this is a string, and this is the reason why we said that this string are not part of what? A simple data type, but they are what?
Yes.
Part of what? What data type do we say the strings are? Do you remember? The group. What group did we classify the string?
Complex or
Complex or
um, um, say they are actually complex or group or collection.
collection? Okay,
Yes.
so you could see that they are group, okay, or collection data types. So you can see that they are different string characters that combine to form a string. So the spacing and everything is part. So individually, they occupy a space. All these ones, the spaces, everything come together to form the string that we are seeing here. Okay, so that tells you that Python or any string, not only in Python, any programming language, what we have here, string characters are what made of combination of what characters. Okay, and each character occupy what? A space or a position, and that position is termed as what? Index. Okay, so if I look for any of this one, that is going to give me that. So if I want to know the last index, so the total length, now here, let's see here. If I want to calculate for the total length of this string, welcome, we use a function called length. So the length function here will calculate the length of the string. Okay, to calculate the length of the string. So now, if I want to know the length of characters I have within welcome to Python class, I'll place everything inside this. So now I'll come here and say welcome. So that welcome, and then I can print this out. So once you run this code, you could see that we have what? 23 what? Characters, including what? The empty space. Okay, so when we count this one, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The empty space become 8, then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So now we have 23 what? Characters. And each character starting from 1. So when you put all together, that makes the 23. So counting from here up to the end, that makes. So now, if I want to get the last index, so if I place, let's say 23, will the last index be 23 or the last index be
S.
what? So if we run this code here, you can see that it gave us an error here and see that index error, string index is out of range, meaning that it's not there. So if you want to get the last index will be for the length, like the length that we've calculated for. We know the length that we've calculated for minus 1. Okay, the length minus 1 will give us the last index. Why? Why? So the last index for maybe x will be the length minus 1. Why?
Yeah, Kings, I think is because we actually started from zero,
Yeah,
which
good,
is
good.
all
Because
inclusive.
yes,
Yeah.
because we started from 0, so it means that the last index will be what? 22. So if I want to get the last index, that should be 22. So it means that I need to subtract what? 1 from it, so that I'll get the 22. Okay, because indexing is starting from 0. So if I place 23 there, that will be out of range. That's why we see for the string index is out of range. So once I subtract this from that and I add up this number, so now I can check for my index. Okay, so let me count this one here and then place this code at the top. Okay, sweet. Okay, so now I can change here to last index, and we know that the value for that will be what? 22. Okay, so now when we run this code, you could see that we got our last number, which is what? X. And if we want to print our last index value, let's say we can say print this is 22. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, so that is how we can actually check for our last index, because we already know that we are starting from 0. So if we want to get the last, it means that we need to subtract the length from 1, then we can get what? Our last what? Index. Okay, so that is indexing. So now anytime you want to get any of these item, you can place the index there to be able to get your last what? Your individual character. Okay, now let's move on to another topic relating to the same thing that we are doing. But before we move there, I want to find out, do you understand the indexing concept?
Yeah.
Can I, if you can just go over just briefly
Okay,
for the index.
so yeah, so what I want you to understand, a string is made out of what? Characters, right? So combination of characters makes what? A string. Okay, so now we have a string. Welcome to Python class. It's made up of individual what? Characters, and each character occupy what? A space or a position. Okay, so now if I want to get individual position, we use the term what? Index. So
Okay.
now indexing start from what? 0. So that will be, so the first item here, W, is occupying what? Position 0. Okay, position 1 up to the end. Okay, and like I said, the spacing and everything is part of what? The characters that makes up the string. Okay, now to get the individual characters, we use the variable name. So you use the variable because anytime you call the variable name, that variable name will give you what exactly that you assign to. And we know that we just assign what the string value to the variable. So anytime you call or you print the variable, like maybe print welcome, that is going to give us the
Yeah.
entire string value. Okay, but this time we don't want the entire string value, but we only want the characters. So this is the keyword that we use. We use this one, open square bracket in front of the variable.
Yeah.
So you need to know this one. So if you want to access individual character, you need to place this in front of what? In front of the individual variable. So for instance, I want to have access to, let's say, W. So I can say W here and I'll assign it to welcome, because welcome is the variable. Okay, and then I'll place open and close square bracket. So now I'll put in what? The index value. So once I say 0, and I already know that, here means that I know exactly that W is for index 0. Okay, so now once I can get here, I can now print W, because now I've assigned that individual character to this. So if I print this W, you see that it will just give me the value. I hope it's clear.
Yes, yes, it's very clear.
Okay, so that is how we assess individual
Yeah.
characters
Yes.
within a string. Okay, so you have the string, the variable name, then you place open and close square brackets. Now you can look at the indexes and you put them there. Okay, so now that we've gotten the index, we have another concept called we have another
Ken,
concept.
quick question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You assigned welcome 0 in square brackets to W.
Mm-hmm.
Yet when you print W, you didn't
Mm-hmm.
get welcome. You didn't get welcome 0 square bracket, but you had W.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now list the thing. What we are doing here. Now, welcome, what does welcome contain? What does it contain?
If you are looking at the position, it contains numbers.
No, I'm talking
Or
about
welcome contains welcome to Python class.
it
Welcome to
contains
Python class.
welcome to Python class, which is the string value, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now we already know that anytime you call welcome, it will give us what? This value. Okay, but now we also know that a string is made up of what? A combination of what? Or let's say a string made up of characters, or a string can be a combination of what? Characters. Okay, that is, we have the W, the E, the L, the C, the O, and the M. When you put all together, then we will get our string. Okay, so now if I want to get individual character instead of getting the whole string, that is the question. Because once I do print W, print W will give me what? What will it give me? It will give me the entire what? The entire string what? Value. So if I run this code, you will see that I have what? Welcome to Python class. But then I don't want all welcome to Python class. So we said that to get individual characters out of the string value, you place open and then close square bracket in front of the variable which contains your string value. Okay, and then we know that the first item on inside your string value or character in your string value is occupying what? A space, and that space is the position. Okay, and we said that that is what? Index 0. So the first letter is occupying index 0. So if I want to get the first letter, you put your index number there, and that index number represents what will give us what the value of it. Okay, so once I run this code, you could see that this one will come as what? W. Okay, now you could see that here we are printing it direct. I can also assign the W to a variable. Let's say I can assign it to a variable instead of me saying W, because that's what confused you. Like this, that's what confused you. I can just see index underscore 0. Okay, index underscore 0 value. Maybe I'll use V. Okay, so what this one means is that it's going to give me the value that is occupying by what? Index underscore 0. So if right now I print here, index underscore 0 underscore value, this is going to give me the W. I hope it's clear.
Yeah, it's clear.
So if I
Yes.
change here to 2, what are you expecting?
E.
E.
And also L.
L, right. That would be the L.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope it's clear. Okay. Okay, so now we've gotten the understanding of indexing. So we can also look at another important topic called slicing. Now, when we say slicing in English, what comes in mind?
Trim.
Trim. Okay, trim. Okay. Okay, what again? What other word? Let's forget about programming. To slice something.
To cut the thing into two.
To cut it into two.
Or many parts.
Many parts.
Cut into pieces.
Many parts into pieces. So that is slicing. Okay. So what that we have here, we have welcome to Python class. We want to slice it, that to cut it into pieces. Instead of maybe we picking W or E or that, we want to get the combination of those characters. That is the keyword we use called slice. So slice means that we want to cut. So the same way what we just did. Okay, so I'll copy the same code. Okay, and then come down here. So from the same understanding here, maybe I'll check here to take a value from here. Okay, so what that I want to see that maybe the first, I'll take this one to first underscore cut. So my first cut My first cut will be, so we use this sign for slicing. Okay, so slicing, this is the sign we use for slicing when we want to do slicing. So we use this one for open square bracket column is for slicing. So this is what we use for slicing. Okay, so now if I come here and then I just print first cut. Okay, let's comment on this line. So now here you will see that what came is what? Welcome to what? Python class. But what is happening is that this one is starting from in the 0, as you can see here, meaning that by default Python see here as in the 0, and then here it means that go to the end of it. Okay, so for instance, if I want to start from in the 0 and then stop at in the 5, so when I have something here, it means stop. The first one is start and then stop. So now here will be start and then stop index. So what it means is that it's going to start from index 0, so it will give me the character for index 0, then it will continue. Okay, it will continue to it get to what? 5, and then it will stop. So it means that it's not going to add index 5 to it. So now let's run this code. When you run this code, you realize that what came is what?
WELCO.
So now when you count here, you see that index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. But when you get to index 5, which is the M, is stop. I hope it's clear.
Yes.
So now we'll be able to slide some parts. So let's say when we change here to, let's say 7, what will happen is you can see that we have welcome.
Yeah.
Now it will start from what? Index 0, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, index 6. Okay, so when you do that, then it's going to give us all. You can see that we have access to all. Okay, so that is slide. So now we'll be able to slide, and we say that by default, when you open this one, you leave here, by default it sees as for the 0. So even though you did not add it, Python will automatically start from 0. So now if I start this, you could I still have my welcome. Okay, and then if you leave this one to open, like you did not add any number here, what it means is that it will print everything. Do you get it? So starting from 0 to the end. I hope it's clear.
Yes, it's very clear.
Okay, so now let's see how does Python knows how to just be adding 1 1 1 1. Like you realize that maybe I'm starting from 0 to 7. So what it means is that it moved from index 0, then from index 1, then 1. You realize that it's adding 1 1 to it. Okay, so by default, Python, this one, there's like what we have here. The next one here we call incremental, or either incremental or step or skip. It can be skip, or you can use skip for that, or incremental. Okay, so you can either use this or that. Okay, what it means is that the value that is here is going to add 1 to that. So you could see here, when we run this code, you could see that welcome. It means that from 0 it will add 1. So when you get the 1, then add 1 to 0, making what? 1 here, and
One.
it will print it out. Then add 1 to it like that. So that is skip, or you can use another name, step. Another word that you can use is what? Step. Okay, so here will be step by 1. Okay, so now let's see if I change this one to 2, you realize that it will change everything. So now you see that what I got was what? WLOG. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, so WLOE simply means that I'm starting from 0, then I'll add 2 to 0. So when you add 2 to 0, that will be what? L. So it means that we will skip what? We will skip the E, the 1. Then we add 2 to the L, which is the position. That will give us 4. So we skip the C, if you check. Then we add 2 again. Okay, then that will give us the E. Then we skip the M. I hope it's clear.
Yes, it's very, very clear.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's there.
Yeah. So that is how we can slide. So you can slide. So for instance, if maybe we want to slide, let's say, some abbreviation, we know that, can we give abbreviation? Let's say WPC. We can actually pick this, and then you skip and get maybe this, and pick that one, then you skip to something like this. So if I have here and I leave this one empty, if I leave this one empty, simply means that here is going to pick all. So now you can see what it gave me. So it's starting from here and ending at that side. So now when we change this one to last underscore index, now let's run this. Oh, so let me still change it to 1. Okay, so we understand that proper before we can calculate. So now here we realize that the S did not come. Why? So you say welcome to, but the S did not come. Any idea? Hello.
Okay, so I'm looking at this. Okay, so I was doing something. Okay, so the first cut is welcome 0 to 1. But
So we
but
pick
if
the index.
if the if
Mhm.
the if the if the last cut is 1.
No, this one is the skip. This one is the skip. Okay. This is what I explained here. The skip. And I say
Okay,
by
okay,
default,
okay.
one,
Let's skip.
let's leave it. Okay, let's leave
Mhm.
it. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay. So actually, that's a skip. The skip of is 0. Or
Yeah, so now when you check here, we say that start is what 0, and then end is the next one is the stop. So we have 2
Yes.
here, start and the stop. And you realize that we stop at what? The index what? The last index. We already know what the last index means from what we did. Okay.
Yes.
And realize that instead of we getting welcome to Python class, we just came welcome to Python class without 1x. And I'm asking that why?
Oh, I think
Uh,
since we are actually
we have
setting.
already.
Okay, Sammy,
Uh-huh.
go.
Okay, you continue.
No, no, Sammy, go.
Because we know that the last to get the length of the string, it
Mm-hmm.
is the the variable you have assigned to welcome minus one.
Mm-hmm.
So if that we should print it should start from 0 and let end at the last index. It is the last index is minus one. It's a
Mm-hmm.
welcome minus one. So when you run it, you would get everything except the last one
The last one.
because
So
we have already assigned value.
why is that except the last one? That is the question.
Because the slicing, we are saying that it should start from 0 and end on the last one.
End on the last one. So it's going to stop on
The last.
the last x. So it's not
Mm,
going to add the last x.
okay.
Okay. So the last x will be the 22. That will be
Yeah,
the value 22. But then it's not going to add that one because it will stop at that.
yeah, the
So
last
now
one.
if I want to add it to it, I want the last one to come. What do I need to do? Now, from this same code, I want the last one to come. So what do I need to do?
Colon one.
No. Is it column 1 or
If
plus?
you plus one.
Well, we realize that we reduce it. So now, instead of we stopping at 22, we want 22 to be added. So we can say stop at 23, meaning that we don't need the 23. There's nothing in 23 that we want. But 22 actually occupy what the last index. And so if we are stopping at 20, if we are stopping at 22, that is the value for that. That means that we are not getting the last x. So to solve that, we can do plus what? 1. So plus 1 means that we are adding 1 index to the last one, making it what? 23. So it means that it will be able to get us what? This. Do you get it? Hello?
Yes, yes, King. I've got it.
I'll be clear. You know,
Yeah,
when we want the last index, we reduce it by 1 if we check it well. Okay, we
yeah.
reduce it by 1, and that because we are starting from 0. So if you want the last one, that means that we reduce the length, which is 23, by 1, and then we got our last index. Now we also knows that the what we have here, column last index, is the stop. So it means that it's going to stop on 22. That is the last index. So it's not going to print the last index. So if I want to add or print the last index, which is 22, I need to add 1 to it so that it will be able to print it for me. I hope it's clear.
Yes.
Okay, so that is the indexing. And the last one is the skip, mean that I want to, we know by default, it's like this, it's adding 1 to it. So if you want to change the the cutting pattern, you want to change the pattern to a different, maybe I can say 5, skip by 5. So skip by 5, that will be like, you see what I just got.
Mm,
WM, then what? O. So you could see that I have my W and the M, then the O. If I say skip by 7, let's see. So now you can see that I have my WHS. So WHS, that is what I had. Okay. So if I skip it to 9, okay, so you could see that what we have is what? WOC. So WOC, what will it be? WOC can be some form of abbreviation. So this is the C, okay, for welcome.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yes.
So I've gotten some abbreviation for welcome as WOC. So welcome to Python class will be WOC. I hope the concept is okay.
Oh yes, yes, yes. It's quite understandable. You just need a little more practice.
Yes, yes, yes. So now, this what we just did, we call that what? Positive indexing. So what we just did was it's called what? Positive slicing, sorry, positive slicing. So what we just did called positive slicing. Okay, so positive slicing is starting from the 0 to this. So if I want negative slicing, so the negative slicing will be starting with a negative number. So if I want to have the so let's copy, let me do the arrangement well. Okay, so this is positive. Now let's look at negative. So negative will be this. So negative slicing will be the same. So I'm using the same cut here, but this time I'm going to change the arrangement. Okay, so inside of this, when I just do something like this, so this is index. So if I do -1, -1 is the index. Okay, so it means that I want the last what? The last item, which is the S. So it starts from the back. 0 start from front, negative start from back. So now you can see here, before I run this code, let's print X. Print maybe, okay, so we print last count. Okay, so once you run this code, you can see that I had what? S. Okay, so negative means that you are printing from the back. So negative index will start from the back. So you realize that I had the last what? The last item. Okay, so if I want the next one, that will be what? Negative what? 2. So the next X will be -2. Okay, then if I want the A from the class, that will be what? -3. So you could see that A, that is -3. So you could do up to, let's say, -22. So negative 22 will be what? What will be the negative 22?
W.
The W. Okay, the W. So negative 22. Sorry, will be the E because we are counting from
E.
this is starting
Zero.
from 1,
Or
right?
from one. Okay. Okay.
That would be this. So the last item should be negative 23 because it's starting from 1, the negative 1 and stuff. Because the total length is 23. So that should give us the W. Okay, so this is the negative. So this is the negative index. So this one specifies the negative index. So if we want the negative slicing, we already know that for slicing, we use the slicing sign here, which is the column. So when I say slice of this, okay, and then I place in the value of negative 1, and then run this code, you could see that I have what? Welcome to, but then did not add the last one. Okay, I can also start from negative. If I want to get all, I can start from negative 23, okay, which will give me everything, okay. Or you can decide to start from what? The length of whatever that you are doing. Because you know that the length. Samuel, please, can you mute your? Okay, thank you. So now we know that the length will actually give us the length of everything. So if I say length, then I place in welcome. Okay, in that case, it's also going to give me everything. Do you get it? And then I can decide to stop at maybe negative 7. Okay, so when you run this code, you could see that you just work out to Python by maybe let's say negative 8. So you could see that we have to work out to Python. Okay, so if I change to negative 6, in that case, I'm able to get the whole Python. Welcome to Python. Okay, do you understand?
Yes, can I understand?
Okay, so that is the negative slicing. So the first one we did was the positive slicing and then the negative slicing. Okay, so that is the difference between the two. Okay, so when you look at the negative slicing and then the positive slicing, they are all the same. Okay, but just that one is starting from the back. So
Yeah.
now if I change we know that by default it's starting with what? It's 1. So the skip, I can just increase the skip to 2, and you saw how it came,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if I change it to the skip to, let's say, 6, okay, you see that this is how it will come way. Okay, so these are the negative slicing, and then you can also get the negative index and then the positive. So positive start from the front and the negative start from the back. But the skip and the incremental is the same. I hope it's clear.
Yes, very clear.
Okay. So now we can also look at the reverse. Okay. reverse. So like all that we just did, maybe welcome to Python class, we can just do print it a reverse. Okay, so to do a reverse, I'll have the same data here.
Ken, and before we do that, actually, is a river different from the negative? Slicing.
Yeah, reverse is different from negative side.
Okay.
This is not a reverse. This simply means that we are printing from the back.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
instead of me starting from front, you use the positive slicing. Front start from 0 and then move forward. Then if you want to start from the back, then it should be negative. So the last character will be -1, the -2, -3, like that. But the skipping or the step is the same. The step will be 1, or you can increase it to 2, or like the way that I've increased this one. Okay, so now let's look at the reverse. So the same code here, I'm going to do the reverse. Okay, so for the reverse, what it means is that now when I change my step, okay, so let's start from here. If I have something like this, I believe you know what it means, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so once I
Yes.
run this code, let's see, let me change this one to reverse. Okay, and then print reverse underscore cat. Okay, so if I have something like this, and then let's run this code, you can see that everything came what? Welcome to what? Python class, right? Okay, because here the starting point is what? What it means here, the starting point here is what? 0. When
Zero.
we like this, then the ending is what? Infinity. So it will print everything.
That's one.
And the incremental 2 will be 1. I hope you get it.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we want to change the incremental. So anytime you add negative incremental, so if I say -1 here at the incremental side, it means here I'm talking about reverse. Okay. So if I run this code here, you could see that it came as this. It printed from the back. Do you get it? So that is the reverse. So it printed the X, you can see the S came, then it followed by the A, then L, then the C, then the Python 2 started from what? The back. Okay, and 2, so that is the reverse.
Oh, okay.
Do you get it? So
Yeah.
this is what reverse. So once the reverse is the negative, the step. So when you change your step or your skip or incremental to negative, then it means that you are talking about what? A reverse. So you are reversing everything that you just did from the back. So start from printing from the back by doing the reversing. Okay, so I hope it's clear.
Yes.
Okay, so if I now come here and let's say I want to place a number here, let's say a number like 0, and then 6, and run this code. You see what came? Why?
So it means that we started from the first index. However,
Zero.
we skip to the sixth one and we
Mm-hmm.
still started. So if we are to count that speed, it will look like 0 plus 6, which is the first letter W, count 6 characters minus 1. Then it will jump again 6 characters minus 1.
It will jump.
Yes.
Let's look at this well. Like the W is from where? Let's check our
Uh,
wording. The W is the first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is the W. And then we realize that the next one was what? Ye, right?
Hmm.
Do you see the next one was ye?
Yes.
So ye is this. Then from ye, we didn't see anything again. The last thing that we saw was what? Y, right?
Mm.
Or
One. Yeah. One,
okay.
two.
So now let's see. Let's count from the back. If you count from the back, what do you have here? Now, if I count from 1, 2, so -1,
Yeah.
-2, okay, -3, -4, -5. But here we are not dealing with a negative figure. Okay, if you check here, we are not dealing with a negative figure here.
Mm.
So when you count from here, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, negative what? 6.
Six. Yeah, bro.
That will end here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we move to the other side, which is this one, then we have the 6. But from our previous class, or the previous topic that we just treated, see the stop is what? The
Zero.
middle number is what?
It's a stop.
Is the
Stop.
stop. The
Yeah.
middle number is the stop.
Yes.
So if for instance, I don't have the negative here, let's see that we are taking the negative code,
Good.
and then we run the same code. Now you
Good.
can see that we got what? Welcome.
Welcome.
So
Yeah.
what means is that
Without
it started from what? 0, then it stop at what? It stop
E.
at the E.
E. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it means.
Yeah.
So in this case, we didn't have the E because that is where everything just
Okay.
stopped.
Stops. Yeah.
Okay, now let's add the negative. So now I've added a negative value here, and we still run the same code. Now here, you realize that nothing came. Actually, what came here is not from our code. That is what I want you to know. Let
Mm.
me let me do this one here. Maybe you will get it correct. So all that we are having here wasn't part of our code. Do you get it?
Yeah.
If nothing came, the 22 is what we were printing at the top here. Okay. The last one. This is the 22. Let me comment on that line. So let's run it again. So now you can see that nothing came. Do you see that? It means that what that we get, it is the empty string. Actually, it's empty string, but because of what we are doing, we are not seeing it well. Okay, what came is empty string. Let me copy this code here and then come down here. Maybe that place you will see it well. So I'll place this line here and run this code and then copy the last one, what we just did here. Which one? This one.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I call the reverse underscore cat, you see this? What is
Mm.
the empty string, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. it means that what that we are doing, it doesn't make sense to the, because when you check it critically, we're starting from what, uh, 0, okay, and you say you should do a reverse. So if it's going to do a reverse, it should start from the back,
Yeah.
okay, but then you are starting from what, 0, and you are saying that you stop at what, 6. So
Six.
how is it going to do
Do
the
a
reverse?
reverse. Yeah.
Do you get it? So now it will give you what, empty,
Okay.
empty, because it doesn't make sense. Okay, so there's nothing like a reverse. Okay, so now let's change the same thing here again. Now, per what we just did, okay, I still want to do a reverse. So now if you want to do a reverse, where are you starting from? Maybe I'm
From
starting
six.
from where?
From 6 to 0. Oh,
If you are starting from 6 to 0, and run this line, now you can see that the reverse is working.
yeah.
I hope you get it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to pick from the back and get. So now you can see that here we have what, the E coming first, okay, M, you can see that, then the O, then I believe the positive is clear.
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at negative. So if we are going to use the negative index, and then I just place here -5, and then here -1. Let's run this code again. Now you can see that this one is working, right? So you can see it's starting from where? The back,
Okay.
because the first one, okay, so it's printing from the back. That is the SS, okay, up to the L. But if I change this one to -5, then I place here 1, what are you expecting? Empty. It doesn't make sense. I hope it's clear.
Yes.
Because you propose the reverse. So if it's a reverse, what the reverse should be the first. Okay. In that case, it will work. Okay, so this is the reverse, and then so we've done the reverse, we've done the okay. So I want to find out if everything from what we've done so far, if there's any doubts anywhere that we need to work it out. If there's something that you couldn't get it well.
Oh, I think it's okay. Just that it's a bit technical, so I'll just take time and then go through it. If still we don't understand, I'm sure we'll come back in the next class. We'll ask.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So thank you very much. We will end here, but you have to go over them. Okay, I will send them to you as well. So we are still under the string. There are a lot to learn from the string. So
Yeah.
this is the first part of it. So once you are done with the training here from the string, I'll give you questions where you answer them. Okay, but just go over them. Just try your hand on them practically. Just pick a string and try to slice it. Try to pick for the index. Try to get the length. Try to use the slicing method, positive and negative, and try to do the reverse. Okay, so these are what we've done so far. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. I don't want to add anything again. If not, it will be too
Mm.
much for you. Okay, so we
Yeah.
can end here. for you to consume what you've covered. Okay.
All right.
So see that our next class will be on Monday, right? We're meeting on Tuesday, right? Okay. Our next
Tuesday,
class.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you
Tuesday,
and see you.
I have another meeting, but I'm sure I'll see if I can make it. If not, I'll just have to watch the video.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.